Hey, what's again, guys? Gulliver here. This is going to be my last Titan Tech Tree video. I think that's just fair to show to you guys. Just appears on the Titan Tech Tree level in the user profile 170. When you go Titan Tech Tree, doesn't have a bar anymore. It just says max Titan Tech Tree level reached and maxed on side. So we're going to Titans and we're going to upgrade our last 3 available points on the Spark Rejuve to have a healing aspect, on Scorponok Titan. So that's how it is when you have the Titan Tech Tree. Overall, I think that's like a kind of decent series that I have made. I think that I show everything that I think is interesting in the game, that it's necessary in the game, and my development as a player, and some tech choices that I have made for the time, and some stuff. I think that you can, if you are curious, like, oh, which is the level of certain tech tree at max, I think that you can find out in the videos that I have posted. It's just search TTT on the videos, and I made it a little bit easier to you guys, and I made a hashtag with numbers of the series to find out in the searcher if you need on your laptop or something. So yeah, it's really good. One of the things that I always wanted to say is that I'm planning on doing a raid video tomorrow as well, because I think that I never was able to make a raid video. I think that raid is kind of a outclassed or sorry, outdated event in a sense. I think that there should be better things in like midweek times, but I think that Shanix are still like kind of useful, because you have a lot of decent stuff, like mainly R13 and Spark. I think it's the only thing that I purchase in the Shanix store. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a certain point where you could even purchase Z-Energon with the Shanix. Am I right? Or am I crazy? I don't know. I was absolutely sure that it was like here, close to Ori 13, but it's disappeared. Not sure when or how, but I was pretty sure that it was there at some point. I'm not sure why. One of the things that I wanted to talk is one of the things that have been from my mind a little bit, and hacking in the game, and how it have developed, and how it have kind of become kind of a irrelevant or not so focused mechanic overall. First, this is my new loadout to the base. I have made a try test, and I'm really surprised with that. I think that on this battle I just switched to there was a anti-hack thing there, and I switched to the lightning rod like from the last second, and then I get attacked. And like, I think that this shows that how efficient this setup is, because it helps through like freezing many of the guys that like, if they cross this swoop path here, all the four lasers can attack you, and you basically insta lose a bot. And if there's a something like really close to you, you start getting destroyed by like everything. Uh, I think that this guy is not exactly a newbie or anything, but should be kind of a new player. He has only one SA11 on the 5-star. Long nut. Uh, he doesn't have any prime he doesn't have any prime cores, like only one. So like he's using Skywarp as a G1 for Skywarp. It's like not the best thing. And this is one of the faster says defensive fail, but it's because of a lack of accuracy in the replay feature of the game. It's one of the fastest defenses I think that I ever got, and it's 1 minute 7 seconds, 1 minute 44, 3 minutes. This guy tried solo and didn't work. So it was like, I really feel that at these, like, I was so like switching around between lightning rod and the anti-hack one, and I was like, I'm going to leave the anti-hack one and like the anti-EMP guy lightning rod, and like it is what it is, you know. I think that the EMP guys are much more prevalent in the game. And I think about it like, I mainly, if you think about it, you mainly use it for sack bots that usually that don't usually age, like Dive Bomb or that have very decent G1 cores, for example. I think it's worth trying to make the G1 cores instead of the Liège core. But I start to think to myself, how really good is hacking in today's game? And I just thought about it, and it's not that much, to be honest. And I didn't think like because of this on my base, but I just like wanted to make the middle of the base a little more tighter. I think that the defenses were like more spread, and I wanted to tighten it up a little bit. So I just make a couple of moves to like make it a little bit shorter and less longer from the other. They are more, the space is more tight in the middle, and like you basically have the illusion that you're going to have a nice and easy path for here because you have a lot of mines. There's not much defenses like impactful ones here, but it's just still time. Here we have Scourge. One thing that a guy from Facebook suggested me, which I didn't thought about that in the beginning, but it really makes sense, is that Scourge with Tombot is really annoying. He said like, you definitely should switch Tombot and Blowpipe from Waspinator Scourge, because if you think about it, I actually use Waspinator as like on offense, on attacking, and like I don't care about Tombot anyway. So just leave the annoying combat in the annoying defense guy. So I think that pretty much it. He doesn't have a high level, but like it's just the annoyingness of the thing that's really what bothers me. And Blowpipe like increases DPS of the bot when it touches the ground, so it's going to do more damage. And since you don't stay in the sky for so long, like he drops to the ground like very short, very sooner. You're just going to do the damage. Like it's going to be really what matters to you. So thanks so much for the suggestion there. And I was really surprised, like how efficient and how fast this map design have worked, and it's really a versatile one, to be honest. I think that I use and I abuse the hell out of the zone heal here. If I remember correctly, these two lasers, they look like they receive a little bit of healing with this like first pixel of them close to the shield gen, but they actually don't. But if you think about it, these laser, 2 MDSs, the shield gen, and the missile launcher, it's a 6. So I have a great value in the one zone heal. And I was like thinking about it. And I was using 2 zone heals, like here and here, for example. I was just like healing a mortar there, or a missile launcher. But like, the missile launchers kind of stayed there, like further along in the match, so I don't kind of care if they get healed or not, because they just do the damage far away. If the guy gets really close, it kind of doesn't work, because like it has this short area of I can get you, like this area that's close to the energon storage here, and the mortar, he doesn't get it. So it's really like functional and really optimized in this sense. And I think that's not like a coincidence that the first one was really strong. Again, is very likely a very new player. No much OP stuff available to him. Not a huge amount of SA11s and full prime course. But again, he has a full team of 4-star bots with at least level 7 these days, and 1 5-star with SA11. So it's minimum decent, and I just like crushed the guy with like most less than a minute, like 1 minute and 7 seconds. So I think it's impactful enough to me to say, oh, okay, I think I'll consider that and leave it and live as it is right now. And I was like, man, what if the guy had Dirge, man? Blades or whatever, because he was a Decepticon and switch side, and when you play against when you're a Decepticon and a Decepticon account attacks you, you'll switch to Autobot. And I was like, man, what if he has blades, man? I was destroyed. And I was thinking about it. Against these base that I have made, Blades is really strong, because if he gets here, he gets multiple lasers, or if he gets like here, for example, he gets 2 lasers and a possible missile launcher. So it's very strong, but like, what else he's going to do? He's not going to hit Dirge on the mortars. He's not going to like send here because it's useless. He's not sending the beginning of the map because it's not very optimized. And I thought to myself, like, okay, I think that Blades is not really that impactful anymore. And I think to myself, in different bases and with the different bases that I've played during the day, I think that people kind of learned to make Dirge even more costly than what he already is. And what I mean by that is, like, if you place like a base that has a side of the map which has like a resource building, a outpost, a mortar, and a cannon, is it really worth to dirge that area? Like, just for the cannon and like a couple of mortar shots? Not that much. if there is no mortar but there is a beam laser, yeah, just for the beam lasers, like, it's not going to be that impactful. Um, I think that the only thing that's really bad to me is that if the guy hacks this middle area here and the beam laser pop the build bot with zone heal, and I kind of lose a important part of the cluster. But outside of that, there's no big blades that affect me. It's not going to the laser are not going to kill the MDS or the shield gen by any way. Uh, it's very very well protected. Like, if you consider that these defenses aren't stunned by the upgrades, and if you have here, like, you could switch this to this and this one, you have a really really well defended area of aerials, so you can basically guarantee that base Blades is going to activate his SAO at maximum twice, or like it's going to take a very very long time healing from Minerva or Junk Heap, whatever, Crane Case, stuff like that, to then have the third shot. So it's going to take a very very long while, so you're kind of stunned about for a while if you think about it. It's not going to be like stunned, and mainly people if they use Prime or Crate Maker setup on Dirge, it's like kind of useful. Why he's not activating the SA, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just more limited. Its actions are more limited, and this is very good to have. So I was thinking about it. Most of the time, was when I have blades on my team, and I was playing today for the Titan Tech 3, and I have blades on the team, and he was there, and there was such a huge amount of uh, of maps and base designs that blades is absolutely trash, like unuseful. You can't use it decently. You can't like deal with the thing, and it's not because the guy has 3 anti-hack cores. It's because naturally the guy developed his base to be like, huh, hack me, I don't care. So like, if you think about it, the guy can just place a shock tower, a beam laser, with an outpost bot in a resource building, and like, it's really worth to go there. Like, laser is going to have like take out a little bit of the shock tower that health. You don't accomplish anything. Or like MDS, laser turret, autocannon, resource building. You just wasted, if you have like wasted the second SA, you just wasted 8 SA points to do with like an autocannon and maybe a laser with a laser turret and maybe an autocannon. It's not guaranteed yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just too costly for a lack of efficiency. I think that if you use blades with a certain amount of combination of stuff, like blades with blot octopunch, like octopunch, attract everything, reflects the damage. Blades deals with whatever is attacking your stuff, like your healers, your gunners. Then octopunch clears whatever is like half of the HP gone, like to start to regrab the SA points back. Yeah, that's like nice, but like it's not a cheap combo. Like if you think about it, it's five from Blot, four from Octopunch, and five from Blades. If you just use the free, then the second road is seven Octo, eight if the decoy from Blot just destroyed, and another eight for Blades. So the third row like is unbelievable. Like I won't even begin. So you see what I mean? Like it becomes basically impossible. I think that you can't do this combo four times because the fourth time you don't have 40 SA points available to you. You can't do it 40. Yeah, you can do because if you have 40, it's 14, 14, 30. Yeah, you actually can. No, you cannot. You cannot. It's exactly 41 points. So, you see what I mean? It's basically impossible. Uh, so it's a combo that you have to at maximum use three times, and like you deal with certain stuff, but like they could have the anti-core, the anti-hack core, and it doesn't function. They could have the lightning rods, and it doesn't function. You can have the guys can have the uh, cluster with a lot of healing and prime cores, so it doesn't function. So like Blades is less efficient right now. Uh, so I think this means a lot to the game itself, and also if you think about it, there's certain stuff like these pH. Uh, but I think that Liège is good on offense because of the hacking uh, of the enemy bots, but from the outposts. But to be honest, there's no real annoying thing for you to deal with in certain ways that you can do with other ways. Like you can use like smoke screen, smoke screens. I mean breakneck. You can use a warrior to attract the outpost bot that's messing you up. You can use any decent damage dealer to deal with the thing. Like this is not a problem, you know. Uh, and like I think that Liège core is like the most important thing on it is actually that you can't get hacked, so you can play around Computron much easier. Like the only thing that's vulnerable, it's relevant in the game, is a massive hack range from Computron, but it's not because of that exactly. And it's not because hacking is like broken in the game, not anymore, but because it stops God Neptune. That's the only reason. If there wasn't God Neptune in the game, I think that people would not even use Computron Leo Zacher, to be honest. And I honestly feel that um, this wouldn't be the focus on defense, for example. Um, there would be other bots that would be much more useful than that. People that use Nemesis would use Predaking with the fire boost. Maybe, I don't know. That's actually a nice idea. Um, but you know what I mean? There's so much stuff that like hacks, but like if a bot makes an essay of hacking, it could be good, but it doesn't must be the main thing of the bot. It must be an extra thing. So, for example, uh, the luge. The luge activates the thing and it hacks. And it's weird because it hacks for 2 seconds. So like, the bot will be recognized that's hacked, and it's going to target a thing. It's going to shoot one time, and it's going to stop being hacked again. So like, doesn't make much sense to me the way this bot's built on. It gets increased in SA11. I'm not sure. 4 seconds. So it's not even that relevant, to be honest. It's more the invisible kind of thing that's like interesting. Percept or Bombshell, for example, is like trash. No one cares about that bot. Like, and it's like a more simplified blades, a more accurate blade. Like, you want defense A to attack defense B, so you hack defense A that's closer to so you hack defense A that's closer to B, so it attacks one each other. It's like that makes sense. But blades like better in cost efficiency. I think that there's one point in the weekend or during the events or during the wars that I'm going to play in the middle of the week that I will show like maps that blades and dirt are completely useless to like try to explain better to you guys. Like, because there's some guys that say that the apes did not well by making the shock towers immune to hacking with the Titan tech tree. I think that was really smart, to be honest, because hacking shock towers was really annoying when I couldn't protect myself. But like, helps to like understimulate a mechanic that's like, it's not absolutely obsolete, but like it's like the minions from Soundwave and GNU. They are kind of good, yeah, they are kind of decent, but they're not anything close for what they were before. Like, people could like solo Zone 15 with Soundwave Blaster, for example. And if you try that today, it's like very unlikely that you're going to have success. Same with like the classic setup of Quintus Pterodon, like one or two MDS with like, how do a Soundwave deals with a cluster, to be honest. And like, the cluster itself is a definition, like the cluster paradox that there is around Dirge is one of the things that like most kills it. There is the cluster theory and practice, which most of the guys use. Most of the guys protect the shield gen with the MDSs and shock towers and lasers and stuff, because it's the most efficient way to like protect your base and like give value for your defenses. So like, blades are basically immune to that. Like the cluster is immune to blades. I think that's the correct way to say. Because stuff around the MDS shock tower stuff can be hacked. So okay, but against bases that don't use clusters, bases that don't use clusters normally are the base that distributes a little bit better in like zones. So like, they always have like a resource building and outpost bot, which are like very, very, very bad blades targets, and thing that cannot be hacked, and the hackable thing. So like, they split areas in like these squares, like for example like this. Would you blade an area like this with like a lightning rod, whatever, for example? It's basically useless. So What happens is, if you go for that, it's like very likely that you're going to have success uh, with the investment. So like they make naturally not worth the thing, you know. So I think that's like a way that the game have developed that's very unlikely to return back to where it was before because it's very much like let me make stuff here, yeah. And I think that's fair. And like for example, if there's a base with like a lot of mortars and missile launchers and lasers together, they likely have the anti-hack core. And like you have a lot of anti-hack cores, and like you have to deal with the cores, with the build bots and stuff. But like they add too much complexity to the equation to a point where okay, the guy actually wants you to do that. Then if the guy has like two anti-hack ones and an FFD, so you kind of like lose one of your warriors into deal with the FFD. You kind of lose blades because you deal with the stuff, so blades is kind of useless because you're going to deal with the clusters and stuff that are not worth blades. And after that, you're going to have a cluster against. So like you have wasted a lot of resources with the build bots, with the with like the lasers that like with some defenses that are spread. You have actually used blades. You have actually hacked a lot of stuff. You have actually make really worth your energy points. But then when you face against the real problem, you're like your activations of stuff are so high that you can't capitalize. So the cluster capitalizes on you after all. You know what I mean? Like it's not that easy of a situation to deal with if you're worrying too much about it, and if your team's not like absolutely complete and prepared for the situation. Another thing that I wanted to think about is like in general content that hacks. For example, one of the things that I made me think about it is that most of the guys that talk to me to use Lancelot, they don't use Lancelot because of the anti-hack in a sense, but they use the anti-hack to keep the guys in the back of the map, like the trigger from 6 seconds. So it gets reignited every 6 seconds and avoids the bot of rushing too deep into the map and getting into trouble. So like, if it's the ignition effect that matters, not the anti-hack, not the protection, so you basically kind of don't need too much the protection, know what I mean? I think that everyone knows that I actually fall in love with Vertbreaker, but like Vertbreaker wasn't actually hacking wasn't actually a problem. It's just a bonus that it protects against Computron, to be honest. But the AMP stuff that I get really pissed off when I get in the face, and like there's a lot of mines and stuff. So that's what really like seduced me to play Vertbreaker in TTT Max. So what happens to me is that you can kind of ignore hacking in today's meta, because like in the perspective of offense, you know what I mean. Actually, in the perspective of defense, you kind of like can ignore the stuff that that hack you, for example, because of the situations that I have described it to you. The cluster paradox, that like when you have the cluster, the cluster is like immune to hack. When you don't have the cluster, it's really not like easy to deal with a lot of mini errors that are not worth using blades and lurch. So it's really complicated in this scenario. And also, and for example, if the H core was actually activated when you get close to the outpost bot, and you get the outpost bot ability hackable, not after you used not after the outpost bot have the SA activated, this would be a completely different talking. Because like, for example, T2 Max, he wouldn't be a very good outpost bot choice. Because if you place it close to the cluster, you go like headstrong pipes close to that, triggers T2 Max, gets hacked, and T2 Max fires against the cluster, so it helps. So it makes you easy. So it makes your life easy to deal with the cluster because you're using the outpost bot SA to do with stuff. You know what I mean? So like, that's really a nice way to like balance things up, and I really enjoy that they have done it, and they went like this could be much worse, to be honest, and I'm really glad that they didn't have done this weird idea, but like, okay. And yeah, that's pretty much for it, guys. Before I die, I will end up the video because I'm not very well right now. Bye guys. Bye guys.